What does the Zero Escape series plus Battle Royale divided by Persona times Phoenix Wright equal? Dangan Ronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, translated as Bullet Rebuttal, Academy of Hope, and High School Students of Despair. A PSP game that hasn't made it to the English-speaking world yet, but being recently translated, this is one mystery visual novel you can't pass up. The world needs to know about. Dangan Ronpa. Recently getting its name heard because of an anime adaptation, Dangan Ronpa is a 2010 PSP title released by Spike, now known as Spike Chunsoft, the same lovelies who brought us 999. The game takes place at an elite Japanese high school called Hope's Peak Academy, which accepts talented super-duper high school students of the highest caliber in various fields each year, along with one average lucky student, who is selected by a raffle. Makoto Negi, a fairly optimistic but otherwise average student, is that lucky student. However, when Makoto arrives at the academy on his first day, he loses consciousness and wakes up inside the school, where he meets 14 other super high school students who are in the same situation as him. It's there that a sadistic, remote-controlled bear named Monokuma appears before them, telling them that they will be imprisoned in the academy for the rest of their lives. He offers them one way to escape, or graduate from the academy. Murder another one of the students and don't be identified as the culprit. In addition, if the killer gets away, the rest of the students are killed, while only the murderer is killed when caught. It's kill or be killed in this deadly game, where you have to solve the mysteries of the academy while danger lurks around every corner. Sadistic deaths, betrayal, tragedy, and redemption. Welcome to the world of Dangan Ronpa. The story of Dangan Ronpa is pretty friggin' amazing, with a great amount of action, betrayals, and mysteries. Although the concept alone is kind of cliche by this point, the emotions and struggles in solving these mysteries are still fantastic, as you'll find yourself quickly hooked until the last moment. In addition, there weren't many leaps in logic, like a certain Phoenix Wright case, and most aspects of the story and the twists are plausible, and don't really require you to suspend your disbelief. The overall messages of the game are worth mention too, with the general themes of friendship and hope versus despair being the forefront ones and pretty cliche, but they're still well done in the end. I like the other little jabs at social commentary though, like the characters are placed in an academy where they're promised a life of success upon graduation. So by learning to step over other people to get what you want, aren't they ultimately teaching these students what they need to be successful in life? How about the fact that when you successfully catch the murderer, they're sentenced to death, but have you yourself technically killed that person? Isn't that similar to a prosecutor getting a criminal put to death? These are just a few of the bigger moral issues about society the game makes you question, showing some real thought and insight. If that doesn't catch you, just know that this game loves to deal with the surreal, the gruesome, and can be just plain effed up in a lot of its crazy moments. The game's characters are too numerous to go over, but you have 15 very distinct participants, and they play off each other ridiculously well because of their outrageous personalities. However, the one who steals the show is the headmaster Monokuma, who's an absolutely batshit crazy character, managing to be hilarious, philosophical, and pants-shittingly terrifying all at once. A clear precursor to the beloved Zero the Third. But Monokuma's probably even better than him, being the most memorable part of the game in my opinion. The students all specialize in something, like the super duper high school otaku or the super duper high school fighter and such. Unfortunately, with all these characters already labeled by their name, most of them are a little cliche, with the only exceptions being maybe Kira Girl and Sakura. Yeah, that's a girl by the way. The point is that all these characters generally have one or two notes and they don't really stray from it. But that's not to say they're bad characters, they're just really over the top, but that's kind of the theme of the game. Dangan Ronpa is split into 6 chapters, each following a similar pattern. You begin by progressing the story, walking around this large school, talking to people, and pushing the plot along. The school is very large, but you have a great map system and the ability to jump around easily. There's a lot to see, and you'll probably want to see a lot of the hilarious and awesome dialogue the game has. Yeah, it's a translation, but good God, this dialogue is so well written and full of hilarious moments. Furthermore, you'll get some free time to talk with your classmates, giving them gifts, getting their backstories, and getting you some power-ups for later, in kind of a Persona style. However, you won't be able to get everyone's story on your first go, so that boosts some replay value. It's got amazing pacing too, spanning for over 15 hours, give or take, with 6 cases, but it never ever really slows down. It's great. There isn't a whole lot of extra stuff outside of the main story, other than some artwork, music, and a movie viewer, along with a little minigame to get gifts, but that's fine because the focus was all in the main story. So there's that, but of course, it's not a murder mystery without the murder. And when it happens, you get sent into investigation mode, where you have to walk around acquiring evidence and testimony for the trial, Phoenix Wright style. I like how they tell you where to investigate, unlike Phoenix Wright, where they give you little direction there. However, hands down, the best feature of these games are the courtroom battles. A trial for life, and judgment and death, deception in life, and treachery and death, betrayal for life, and betrayal for death, the riddles of life, and the mysteries of death, justification for life and rationalization for death, faith in life and trust in death, the class trial to live or the class trial to die. The class trials are the highlight of the game, where there are several different modes. The first and most important are the non-stop debates, where you have to listen to your classmates discuss an aspect of the crime and interject with evidence when you find a contradiction. Objection! I mean, that's wrong! The catch is that all of this happens in real time. The dialogue flies around in a scripted manner, and you have to move your cursor over the contradiction and fire your evidence before it's too late. You have the option to slow down time for a brief period, and they limit the relevant evidence you can use, making your life a little easier. Any phrases in orange may be refuted, so you gotta stay sharp and ready, especially later in the game where you need to take statements people say and apply them to other parts of the debate. You're also graded, so again, stay sharp. This alone is lots of fun, very reminiscent of Phoenix Wright with an action twist, but there are other parts of the trial, like multiple choice questions about the proceedings of the case, and the machine gun talk battles, where you play a rhythm game to outclass your opponents. Although this was a simple and kind of silly game, it was a nice change of pace. There's also the Epiphany Anagrams, where you have to fill in the blanks to form a word relevant to the case, and my favorite aspect, the climax logic, where you literally have to piece the crime together, start to finish like a manga. Oh yeah, it isn't like Phoenix Wright where they do a lot of the work for you, you have to know your shit here. All of this culminates in the fantastic class trials, where you and your knowledge and memory and logic are all thoroughly tested, as you have to find the culprit and win the day. The coolest thing about these trials is just how fast-paced they are, flowing at a great speed with a lot of flashy graphics and sound that just makes it a fantastic, tense, adrenaline-pumping experience. One issue may be that the cases are slightly easy and kinda short, at least on the normal difficulty, but they're still incredibly fun. Hands down my favorite part of the game that already has a lot going for it. Another problem is the control, because the PSP isn't exactly the best system for pinpoint accuracy, so you may struggle with the cursor a little at first. Other than that, these class trials take a page from Phoenix Wright, but make it a lot more accessible, fast-paced, and throw in some neat ideas that make the class trials an unforgettable aspect of the game. The graphics in Dangan Ronpa are really something. The game reeks of style, reminding me a lot of The World Ends With You a lot of the time, with lots of color and a distinct style. Everything's just kind of absurd, weird looking, overdone in both the character designs and the execution videos especially. There's a lot of atmosphere, a dreary tone, a lot of interesting imagery. There was clearly a lot of effort that went into the visual style, like the design of Mokuma representing human duality, hope versus despair, and such. The manga-like recreations of the crime were also a great touch and visually impressive for the PSP. I just liked how vibrant everything was, especially for the class trials when they really capitalized on that Phoenix Wright formula in the best possible way. My only real issues with the graphics were that some of the characters had some awkward models or postures, and how they went for these weird cardboard figures on the overworld. Also, why the hell is the blood in the game bright pink? Fantastic graphics otherwise. The music in the game was very well done. There was a lot of great mood-setting songs like Monokuma's theme, Climax Return, and the fantastic finale, Rebuild. Other than a select, maybe a half dozen songs, however, not too many of them stand out really well, but what you get is still really solid and memorable. The game also includes Japanese voice acting, which was really well done. Clearly, the audio and visuals and just about everything about Dangan Ronpa shows signs of quality and effort. In conclusion, Dangan Ronpa is a gem of a game that I can't believe has been overlooked by audiences for so long. The story and characters are great, the gameplay is friggin' fantastic, the audio and visuals are way above par. The real mystery is why more people don't know about this incredibly title, especially with the sequel already released. However, I'm glad to say that the game is scheduled to be released in North America on the PSP Vita in 2014, so please keep an eye out for that. It's a quality game that deserves a lot more attention than it gets here, and it's one of my personal favorite titles on the system. Okay, one of my personal favorites of all time. Thanks for watching.